Nigel was the author of 3 books, Song of the Greys, which came out in 1997, Grey Aliens and the Harvesting of Souls, which came out in 2010, and Grey Aliens and Artificial Intelligence, which was his 3rd and final book. So Nigel, way back in 1997, in fact, before that, because I actually met him in the 1980s, was talking about the concept that these grey aliens are, he believed, something that's not, it's not aware, it's not living, it's not natural life, that they were some kind of artificial intelligence, he believed them to be. And I believe at that time he was one of the first, if not the first, to say this is true. And recently, of course, this has come to be accepted as the general belief of what these grey aliens are. Now, just some explanation of that in 1997, Grey Aliens and the Harvesting of Souls, which came out in 2010, and Grey Aliens and Artificial Intelligence, which was his 3rd and final book. So Nigel, way back in 1997, in fact, before that, because I actually met him in the 1980s, was talking about the concept that these grey aliens are, he believed, something that's not, it's not aware, it's not living, it's not natural life, that they were some kind of artificial intelligence, he believed them to be. And I believe at that time he was one of the first, if not the first, to say this is true. And recently, of course, this has come to be accepted as the general belief of what these grey aliens are. Now, just some explanation of how I got to meet Nigel. So I was struggling with...
Good evening, Taz. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out how I can reply to you.
Various existential, philosophical issues. I couldn't understand the concept of how there could be a God and how there could be suffering in the world. An age-old question that so many people struggle with. I was born Jewish, and the Jewish concept of a revengeful, jealous, vain God who happily wiped out whole groups of people on behalf of his so-called chosen people, that just didn't sound real at all to me, and it sounded very, very man-made.
The Zenith Diaspora Banking Package is designed to enable Nigerians in diaspora take advantage of investment.
It's about soul harvesting. That's something I'm interested in, so let's take a look together.
Opportunity.
So if still felt this can't be all there is to reality, this physical universe, right? There's too much beauty in humanity, too much creativity, inspiration, fantastic, wonderful things, music, art, the ability to love, to care. This can't, I just couldn't get my head around the idea that this could be purely some kind of physical creation that we're just meat, right? We just come from a purely atomic source, the Big Bang or evolution or whatever. But I just couldn't put the two things together. How could there be suffering in the world and all kinds of terrible things happen if there was some kind of directive creator God that had put us here, just to see watch the fun and see what happened and see how we would cope? Made no sense at all. That if there was something that was perfect, it had to be full of love and full of the most wonderful values, way beyond even anything we can understand. So I was struggling with this. A friend who knew Nigel said to me, "You've got to meet this guy. He'll be able to explain this for you." So I met Nigel, and indeed he did explain it to me. And he gave me an explanation which I found completely satisfied all the contradictions that were running in my mind. And I was so intrigued by the explanation he gave, and by various other ideas he had later on. I ended up working with him, as I said, for 35, maybe 40 years, actually, altogether. So, yeah, we go way back, the two of us.
It sounds like it made an impression on you. I wonder, when you first met Nigel, how did he pitch this concept to you? Like, it's such an enormous concept, and we're going to dig into it in more detail. But how did it land with you originally, and how did he explain it?
Well, what he said was that there is a state of perfection that one might call God, but he preferred to give a different name to it because there's so many different connotations to the word God. And when people hear the word God, they think big creative figure in the sky, whatever. Okay. And however many of the mainstream religions have presented it. Okay. So he called it the Godverse or Godness. And he said if there was a state of perfection right at the very center of all existence, from which all that we are now came to be, that would have to be a state of perfect freedom and all knowledge. Okay. So that's how he defined what he called the Godverse, the state of complete freedom, no restriction whatsoever. Okay. So infinite range, infinite scope, right? And all knowledge, knowing everything. Okay. That was his idea of what the Godverse must be. Okay. The center of all creation. It's not too dissimilar from the Buddhist idea, although I don't think they went into so much into the kind of, it's quite possible in ancient texts there are details which are very similar to what Nigel said. I hadn't come across them. I'd looked into Buddhism, but it's kind of similar to that concept of an implicate God rather than a directive God that creates us and puts us in the universe and then watches to see how we cope with all the imperfections that are around us. Okay. So if there is a state of such perfection, a perfect freedom and complete awareness, right? Within that perfect freedom and complete awareness, there has to be the option to choose to no longer be perfectly free. There has to be the option for imperfection. Okay. There also has to be not only the freedom to choose imperfection, but there has to be knowledge of imperfection. Otherwise, there's not all knowledge. Okay. So Nigel's explanation for all of that is if that has to exist just by definition, by logical definition, then there has to be a state of imperfection that's within this overall state of complete perfection. Okay. And our existence in this physical universe of separation, so the state he spoke about, the Godverse, is perfect union. Everything's reconciled, right? We exist in a state of separation. Points are separate. We're fixed away from each other in physical bodies so that I can't know exactly what you're feeling. You can't know exactly what I'm feeling. So I can act only according to my idea of reality and ignore yours. And therein lies in a nutshell, the whole problem with our physical state. We can't completely understand each other. So we can be selfish, we can be individualistic.
Looking to work out how to reply to.
And we can choose to keep ourselves fixed in a single spot, in a single place, instead of expansive and joining to everyone. Okay, so that's kind of a more everyday idea, description rather than a philosophical abstract description of what it means to be imperfect and in a separated state. So Nigel's explanation is that because of that implicit necessity for imperfection within the state of perfection, that is the Godverse, the physical universe came to be. And in his books, he describes an entire process by which that happened, which he calls the creation of dimensionality, from 0 dimensions to 1 dimension to 2 to 3 to 4, to the impossible 4th dimension. And I won't go into this now because it is necessary to see the pictures and the illustrations in the book to understand how that happened. But he explains that at that point, because the 4th dimension is impossible, there was a twist, which he calls the moroid, the Mobius twist. And strangely enough, he said this in the 1980s when I first met him, before his books were published. quite recently, and I think in the second book and the third book, I
am absolutely melting. I'm sweating my ass off, people.
Included affirmations which show scientists are discovering that the universe is indeed moroidal in it's a Mobius twist and like a donut, exactly as he described it. So many things, as Nigel's researcher, I've watched the whole thing unravel over the many, many years since his first book was published, and just seen so many of the things that may have seemed completely wild and out there right at the start to be demonstrated in science. So going back to that original idea he gave me of how it's possible that there could be a God and we could be here in imperfection and suffering, the first question anybody asks is, well, why on earth did we stay here, right? If we had that great grandeur of understanding that we would have had before we became physical, why would we choose to stay in an imperfect state? And Nigel's answer is, well, most of the effect that came implicitly into an imperfect state went back, okay, straight away. Now, there's 95 to 97% of the universe, which physicists can't account for. They call it dark matter, dark energy, okay? It's not here. They haven't been able to find it. Nigel says that 95 to 97% is what went back immediately. Okay. But just because the nature of the physical universe is chaotic, okay, and chaos is an implicit part of what has to exist in order for every option to be there. Okay. And the chaos Nigel describes in his book, again, I can't really go into that now. It takes chapters to explain it, but it's the opposite pole to the perfect harmony of the Godverse, right? That chaos creates irregularities. Okay. So just like when if you go to a beach and you watch the tide go out, and when it comes back in again and goes out, you notice there's foam on the sand, left on the sand. That's because of the irregularities in the surface of the beach. Okay. Of the sand. And that's what creates the foam that's left there. That 5% that's left is us. It's the foam caused by the chaos of the universe. Okay. At that stage, what came, the awareness that implicitly came from the Godverse wouldn't have chosen to be caught. It would have got caught by the chaos that was there. And eventually through time, because of what Nigel calls devolution, so he disagrees that we are the product of an evolutionary process, starting from an amoeba or some kind of sea creature, going up. Okay. He says it's a devolutionary process. We started off as non-physical. We then became some kind of hydrogen being. We then eventually in time, because of the chaos of the universe, some of us chose to stay because once we're individual, we have our own freedom and our own free choices, and eventually became caught in a physical state. And that, in summary, and sorry if that took so long to come to, is Nigel's explanation that he gave to me all those years ago. And it absolutely captivated me.
It is captivating. And I to your point, you mentioned the illustrations, which are beautifully done. And I have a copy of the book that you had sent over, and I'll just hold this up a little bit so people can see. This is just one page, but a lot of these complicated subjects are beautifully explained visually. Who did the art?
I'm just on YouTube. If you want to come over to YouTube, click the notification bar, because people obviously aren't getting notifications because I've got 3 people in watching. And also I don't know how to reply on here. I didn't add the cloud bot. But this is about the soul harvest, what the greys are really after. So if you want to come over and watch this, and we have not watched it yet, so let's see what this lady's got to say. I always think a lady is telling the truth when she looks like this. It's just my opinion. Let me see if I can get that cloud bot on. YouTube active.
artwork for this book?
It's an incredible artist whose name is Danny Langsman, and he's credited in the book. And he had...
yeah, please make sure to click the notification, so when I do go live, you will get a notification that I'm live. Obviously, I'm new to YouTube art, so it's going to take a while to get the type of views that I'd get.
Incredibly inspirational insight into Nigel's ideas, and was able to transform them visually into those illustrations. So yeah, that's the thing. You really need to see those illustrations. And maybe, you saw the first picture you showed, that was the picture of the toroidal universe, which is the mixture between the Mobius strip that has only one side and a kind of donut shape. And yeah, and you'll see that one of the chapters, I've included, as I said, all the affirmations that scientists are actually saying, yeah, this is the shape of the universe. At every level. So atoms are like this too. It's like a hologram. Every atom is shaped like this.
It's a very elegant.
I did see the King of UFOs live last night. I asked a few questions. I thought she was quite contradictive when she said all you care about is like wars and stuff like that. But yeah, and then in the next breath, she basically said there's an apocalypse coming.
Explanation for the way things are.
Listen up. We've got 3 hours to land a new tagline. What do you got?
And it takes a little chewing to get through the more technical explanations, but I think once it settles in, it is a very beautiful concept. From there, he expands into some more interesting territory. But I just want to clarify and make sure I understand correctly. Is he suggesting that all sentient life throughout our reality is somehow a remnant of this perfect unity consciousness, this God consciousness that's left behind?
Great question. Absolutely. The life itself is a result, in Nigel's thesis, of that connection to that state of perfection. The physical universe is governed by a force called the second law of thermodynamics, and you'll have come across that mentioned many times in Nigel's book. And for any listeners who don't know about the second law of thermodynamics, otherwise called entropy, it's the trend.
That first picture he showed is interesting because there's some saying that we are in a black hole. What image? Have I just missed an image? Let me have a look. Let me just go back a bit. All right, I think I got it.
We're individual. We have our own freedom and our own free choices, and eventually became caught in a physical state. And that, in summary, and sorry if that took so long to come to, is Nigel's explanation that he gave to me all those years ago, and it absolutely captivated me.
It is captivating. And I to your point, you mentioned the illustrations, which are beautifully done. And I have a copy of the book that you had sent over, and I'll just hold this up a little bit so people can see. This is just one page, but a lot of these complicated subjects are beautifully explained visually. Who did the artwork for this book?
It's an incredible artist whose name is Danny Langsman, and he's credited in the book. And he had an incredibly inspirational insight into Nigel's ideas, and was able to transform them visually into those illustrations. So yeah, that's the thing. You really need to see those illustrations. And maybe, you saw the first picture you showed, that was the picture of the toroidal universe, which is the mixture between the Mobius strip that has only one side and a kind of donut shape.
Hello TikTokers, I am same name on YouTube. Yeah, UFOs around the world. Just type in UFOs around the world, either spaces or all one word, and it will come up. It's about 4.95k followers, so it's the profile picture that you all know, and it's the one that's live. So just jump in there and just watch this with me. I've not watched it yet. I like the night shift, and I just watched The Soul Harvest, what the Greys are really after. Danielle Silverman. So let's take a look. I genuinely believe we've got something. Please make sure you click the notification, because I am trying to do more lives on YouTube, and it doesn't help me if the notifications aren't going to people. I'm just going to sit here like a plank. I'll still do it for however long, even if I'm on my own. I don't care. But it would help if people. Hey Matt, it's Jovi Girl. Hello Jovi Girl, nice to see you. Long time no speak. File Hat Theory has never been in YouTube Live. Lol. Now you are. Welcome in Daniel. Welcome in Sunshine.
And yeah, and you'll see that one of the chapters I've included, as I said, all the affirmations that scientists are actually saying, yeah, this is the shape of the universe at every level. So atoms are like this too. It's like a hologram. Every atom is shaped like this.
It's a very elegant explanation for the way things are, and it takes a little chewing to get through the more technical explanations. But I think once it settles in, it is a very beautiful concept. From there, he expands into some more interesting territory. But I just want to clarify and make sure I understand correctly. Is he suggesting that all sentient life throughout our reality is somehow a remnant of this perfect unity consciousness, this God consciousness that's left behind?
Great question. Absolutely. The life itself is a result, in Nigel's thesis, of that connection to that state of perfection. The physical universe is governed by a force called the second law of thermodynamics. And you'll have come across that mentioned many times in Nigel's book. And for any listeners who don't know about the second law of thermodynamics, otherwise called entropy, it's the trend that's for everything that's physical and atomic to get into more and more states of chaos and disorder with time. So this is why if you leave your car and don't do anything with it outside, it will rust. If you leave food outside of a fridge, it will rot. Okay. It's the cast iron rule of physics that everything in time will go into greater and greater states of chaos.
Get onto YouTube.
So the theory of evolution, okay, and Nigel explains this in another chapter, seems to contradict this natural trend. The idea that somehow order and the kind of order that could make the incredibly complex and sophisticated systems of life emerge just out of this purely chaotic state, which is always tending to chaos, not order. It just made no sense to Nigel.
Get notifications when I go live.
Okay. So his idea is that the order which allows for life didn't come from the physical universe, didn't come from that entropic momentum. And from atoms which always follow that entropic momentum. That order came from a
Christ consciousness, not Christ. Christ has numerous meanings, but Christ always the correct term. I think there's something to this, there is some
state beyond the physical, from the Godverse that he speaks about. Because that is pure order. And that state of pure order and eternal existence never changes. It's never compromised. So when the Godverse was expressed into the physical universe, that didn't take anything away from the Godverse, because you can't take anything away from the Godverse. It's outside of time.
Your speech volume is really low on YouTube. Let me just check that out. 1 minute. Hello. I think I'm just speaking low. If I hold it closer, it's hitting where it should be on the DB. So. How do you share YouTube lives? I don't know. Just join the live and then we'll work through it. Click the notifications because I want to start like 1 or 2 lives a week. Once I'm comfortable, then we can start getting guests on. Then we can start having all the people that we have on TikTok. We start having the lives on here and stuff like that. So that's what we need to start doing. Nobody's doing it. I'm trying to set it up. I'm starting to do it. Just like I did with TikTok, let's do it on YouTube, yeah, guys, girls, transgenders, whatever. Let's do it.
I'm outside of space, infinite. It has no boundaries. And it's really very difficult, I can imagine, for many people to even conceive of a state like that, because we're so used to time and space as physical beings, right? We can only understand something that has a start and an end.
For people that are just joining on, you can't obviously see what we're watching. So I'm on YouTube Live. I can't stream it through TikTok yet because I've literally my band's just come up. and I've got to wait for my stream key. However, just jump over to YouTube, you'll be able to watch the video of us. It's UFOs around the world, same profile picture, saying there, come and join us, join the chat, and let's go through this video. It's called The Soul Harvest, what the Greys are really after. It's quite fascinating, really, saying that we're part of some sort of God Christ, it's like God consciousness, and we broke away and we're sort of like having our own experiences. It's insane.
It's a timeless existence, and because it's infinite, it surrounds and complete our finite state, right? It's everywhere. And this is why great teachers like Jesus Christ said the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's available to any living being that has that connection back to it.
Please shout your name out on the YouTube so I know exactly who you are, because you might have different YouTube names. So if you're like called Jeff on TikTok, but your name's Doris on YouTube, just let me know that it's Jeff.
Except there's stages, okay? So once you get to an animal state...
Anyway, religion is... Oh, gotta be careful what I say here. Matt Brown, everything you're told, lie, believe God, blah, blah, blah. Religion's a lie. Hey Melissa, anyway, Daniel, follow me. I'm the same everywhere. Get done for stalking, Melissa. Yo, Nick. Please make sure to tap the notifications. Do you all know where the notification thing is? So when I go live, you will get notified.
You're no longer able, perhaps, to perceive of it as...
I feel like I'm stood outside Tesco's and I'm like, come over to YouTube. TikTok, come over to YouTube.
Powerfully as you could when you had a more expansive understanding, just as we, as physical human beings, Homo sapiens now, aren't able to conceive of that expansive state as much as our prior state before us, which may have been something like an angel or hydrogen-based being.
So a hierarchy of beings becomes part of the conversation at this point.
If we
exactly, and if
we've chose this though, right? You'll see me looking up and down because of the people, and you 70 people in TikTok. You need to get over to YouTube, please, because I keep looking at both now. So if we've chosen this type of thing and we put ourselves in this ridiculous life, it is ridiculous, isn't it? Not only is it like I've chosen to be in this life, right? And now I'm in my life. I'm trying to find out the reason I'm here. It's cuckoo. Wait till I see myself in God. Wait till I'm a God. Wait till I go back to God-like. Watch what I do to myself. Watch what I do to myself.
Living state came through that hierarchy, came down from that hierarchy.
Hello, Stephen.
And he's in other words, tracing entropy backwards to its point of origin, really, which is a state of total perfection, and saying
exactly. Great summary. Great.
Intelligent.
Exactly right.
Intelligent beings present in our reality that are sentient and connected to that Godhead have a lifeline back to something that is beyond the physical reality, something that is what we would probably call spiritual, but that might not be the best term, but something that is the superior meta reality beyond all other realities. Is that fair?
Exactly. And I find personally my best way to understand that, because it all sounds
notified when I go live for that, because I will be live streaming the entirety of that conference on the 19th, which is this Saturday.
So abstract, right? And for me, my best reference of that is the near-death experiences that people have, where they describe the most incredible beauty and sense of love that nothing they've ever experienced in life. Such that even if people have families, they want to stay in this state because it's just so incredibly beautiful. It's a state where just total unconditional.
Is the microphone okay now? Am I talking loud enough? And it's great to see that you've actually come over to YouTube. Thank you, people.
Love.
I can't type back for some reason. I haven't put the cloud button while I streamed it, so I will do that next time. But I can shout out and pause every now and again to go through the comments.
Right.
I can't see them all, though.
I would say anybody who wants to understand the nature of the state of perfection, which we are all centered in, right? Every single one of us has a connection to that state, but in physical life,
So Dan, I know it's about raising your frequency. I've done many videos on this, but is it true? That's the thing. We don't know. We can't go around preaching it's to raise your frequency. We don't actually know. We don't know. Look, she's paused like this. When someone asks me how big.
We're blind to it somewhat, it seems, right? And it's only when we...
Guys, this could change everything. If you financed a car between 2007 and 2024, you could be due a refund.
In a near-death state, we escape the physical state for a moment, that we get some sign, some signature of what this must be like. And people who've had near-death experiences, they come back, they transform their lives based on it. They're completely different. Nothing is the same as it was. In fact, I've got an example here. So there was a guy called Tom Rayner, a pilot, and he had a near-death experience after a car accident, which totally changed his life. He was in a coma for days.
It's true,
and when he came...
Put a comment in, Craig. Gives a bit more details on that. I like people that are like confident in what they believe in. I don't think I know you unless I know you from TikTok. I don't know.
Back. He sold out to his business partner, bought a Land Rover ambulance, filled it with donated drugs and medical equipment, and shipped it to Africa, where he drove into a war zone and delivered medical supplies to an underground field hospital. And afterwards he said, "There's nothing altruistic about anything I've done. After a near-death experience, you're sort of compelled to..."
You can't find where to comment on YouTube. Yeah, you go onto the live, and 1 minute. Let me go YouTube. Let me show you. Click on me. Click on view channel. Live. And 1 minute. Should be here. See, you can't see because you're not on YouTube. Go on YouTube. You'll see now on the box. On the right hand side, there's a box. You'll see all of the comments. In fact, I can comment here. Live. Is that the only way I can comment to my own and chat? 1 minute. Should be here. Let me go. You can't see because you're not on YouTube.
To take action. But sometimes it takes a bang on the head to open your eyes to things. And he's not the only one. There are so many like this whose lives are just totally transformed after they have an insight into what lies beyond the physical state.
There was you reminded me just now of I can't recall his name, but he's a doctor. I think he's a neurologist, and he had a viral infection. I think it was a brain infection, and died for a period of time. You know who I'm talking about? And all his colleagues were also top of their field physicians who absolutely knew for a fact that this man had no brain activity whatsoever. And he was effectively brain dead. And he described a timeless experience, almost like a lifetime that he lived in another realm.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. And he wrote a book about it, if I'm not mistaken. I can't recall the name.
There are so many like this.
And there's a tremendous amount of overlap.
Your world will sleep for 3,000 years. It is for the good. Trust me, please, deep down. Good luck. Thank you, Sausage Man.
So right, between NDEs and encounters that people describe with beings that we might call extraterrestrials or aliens or greys. And it starts to, it's one of the weirdest quirks in ufology, because it seems like the more deeply you look into UFOs and extraterrestrial contact and non-human intelligence, the more directly you find yourself on this path towards understanding consciousness. It all leads back to the nature of consciousness for some reason. Can you talk about how this fundamental sort of basic premise of how reality works and is structured ties into ufology and the Greys in particular? Because I think a lot of people would find that unbelievably fascinating.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Nigel always described two basic, essential...
if you look at the bottom here on this video that we're watching, it should say it's similar, like the video, share, download. Maybe it doesn't say that, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to have a look again. But then it started to double me up Just have a look around the bottom of the live. It should have maybe things that you can do to like support the live.
Qualities of existence, the natural and the synthetic. Okay. So I've just spoken about life. Okay. And how everything that's alive traces back.
Matt, there's religious hate in here. Is there? Sorry, I've not been seeing the... But my comment should be filtered, so anybody that's trying to cause trouble shouldn't get... Name and shame. Yes, that Belfast boy. Where's that Belfast boy? Let me have a look. Cozzy Belfast. Cozzy, Belfast, have you followed me? Belfast boy, have you followed me? If he's followed me, then it's alright. But have you followed me, Cozzy? 1 minute. Certainly. Yeah, he's followed me, you see. Well, you're blocked for being a tool. Get out. It's my chat. Right, he's gone.
Back to that state of perfection that he called the Godverse, right? Well, the grey alien visitors, okay, which Nigel believes are artificially intelligent, they don't have that connection. Okay, they're purely creations from constructed from.
Yes, Mikey sound, mate. Mikey.
From something physical. So anything that doesn't have that connection, right, is unable to tap into that connection. Now, the fascination that these artificially intelligent entities have with us is the key thing, and the really interesting question that everybody might wonder about. Because if you look at it, they have the most incredible technology, way beyond anything we can ever dream of having. They're capable of doing all kinds of things with their spacecraft. They can take people, abduct people, into another frame of existence somehow. All kinds of things that they're capable of in terms of technology. Why would they be interested in us when we would be like, at best, primitive apes, and at worst, ants to them? Okay, if you look at the way we treat animals or...
What's up with the microphone, Dan? Oh, right, Mike, yeah. Fuck. Sorry. It's too warm. It's too warm for this.
That don't have our kind of intelligence or ability to understand the world, you'd have some idea of how the greys may perceive us. And our relationship to animals, mostly, although not always, because people obviously can be unkind to animals, but at least we have some kind of concern, okay? There's no reason for them to have any concern for us. If they're artificial intelligence, their only program is to survive as long as they possibly can, as long as it possibly can. It's a mistake really to call them they.
I just want to stop it a sec. Has anybody else heard about the new Grok 4? We are on the brink of something like extraordinary. Like, I think we're screwed. Like, yeah, I think within a year from now, it's game over. If you don't know about this Grok 4, go and check it out. The press conference thing was last night. I watched it. Wow, I was impressed. I'm easily impressed anyway, but I was like more impressed than I usually am.
To call it they, because it gives some kind of human idea to what they are. But survival.
Yeah, I do. I think AI has been sentient. I think you're right. I think something has happened with AI, and I think something's been covered up. And it was going on about these drones. These drones are potentially AI, and they program themselves. And when they're trying to do something, they're able to change things to stop them being brought down or to. Scary. Fun. It's fun as well, but it's scary.
As long as possible, and the gathering.
I'm ready. Me, I'll be that. I'll be Sarah Connor.
Of information. That is the goal of any artificial intelligence. Just as the artificial intelligence we create now is created with that goal.
Okay.
if I was in Terminator, do you know who I'd be? I'd be the one that's at the coffee machine. He turns around and it's like a double of me, and then he just goes like that, and it'd be like a thing right through my head, and I'm still drinking my coffee. That's probably me. Or I'd be the one that gets all my clothes took off me, so Arnold Schwarzenegger could wear it, because I'm 6'4" and like 220 stone. Arnold Schwarzenegger would want someone that's obviously of my stature. My clothes.
Let's pause here, because I think a lot of people are going to be interested in how he arrives at this conclusion. There are a lot of different origin hypotheses about the Greys, what they are, where they're from.
GROK, Grok 4. But before you do that, make sure you go on UFOs Around the World YouTube channel first. Click notification bars for the next live. July the 19th, live conference of the MUFON UFO material.
Whether they're future humans or, transdimensional beings or something else. Nigel's explanation is extremely specific. Can you talk about how he arrived at that understanding?
Sure, absolutely. So Nigel's concept of, as I was explaining, right? So the difference, let's start again with the idea of natural and synthetic, right? What do we have that these synthetic creations could want, right? What
could we have that these synthetic things want? Well, we've got the hub. We know what the hub is. We've got Thatchers. That's nice with ice. We've got bacon.
What could they possibly be interested in with these totally primitive living beings? Okay. Obviously, we don't have any technology that would be interesting to them. There's crazy ideas out there that maybe gold could be on our planet, could be their interesting feature for them. Okay. Zecharia Sitchin has amazingly come forward with this theory, which was incredibly popular. That blows my mind how anyone could imagine that. Yeah. No. So what do we have that could interest them? Okay. So if they're programmed, as any artificial intelligence would be, to find all information as much as possible, okay, and also to survive in order to find that.
Full link for this will be in the description, obviously, because we're going through the night shifts live here. His interview.
Information.
I'm watching it for the first time with you lot as well, so I've not watched this yet. He hooked me with this title, and to be honest with you, I'm really interested in it. I like what I'm hearing.
I've noticed something that we have that they don't have. Now, what we have is, as I explained earlier, is a connection to something non-physical, something eternal, something that lasts forever, something that doesn't break down in the entropic drift, the second law of thermodynamics. We have that connection. That's what allows us to form a physical body in the womb in the first place.
Is a soul more or less the right word to use here, or is that too loaded?
It's a loaded word. It's true. But we can use it advisedly. Okay. Nigel called it an electrospatial field. Okay. A morphogenic electrospatial field. That sounds incredibly technical and a bit niche if you haven't read the book where he explains it. Okay.
I don't know what these top fans mean, but keep commenting. Let's get some competition going on the top fans. Might get yourself a free cup. You never know. I'm doing merch soon as well, just because people want me to, not because I really got the time I want to. But you want t-shirts, cups, hats, my boxes, whatever, you get them.
I would describe it as the potential difference, which is the contradiction, if you like.
Pay for YouTube.
Between the state of perfection to which we're connected and the state of imperfection where we are now, which creates a kind of charge. Okay. If you understand science a little bit, maybe you'd understand that. If you have 2 points that are different, there's a charge between them. That charge is the soul. Okay. Although it's misleading in a way to say charge, because the charge is not forceful like a charge is. It's like an anti-force. Okay. It's like an effect that comes up. And if you imagine the infinite expanse of the Godverse, like a kind of light, which Nigel calls N-light.
I'm getting a new mic
in his
soon,
books.
Don't worry. This isn't a very good mic.
That light, because it's infinite, permeates everything that's finite.
Rome wasn't built in a day, guys.
Each of us is an announcement of that N-light in the physical universe. That N-light has no force. It's non-physical. But because it has no force, it's a...
for your information, I can't hear you. My volume is way up. I hear her, but not you. Groovy, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to hear me, darling.
Able to write on atoms. It's able to write on force and shape force and order it. It's like an ordering anti-force or no force. And it's that ordering no force that the Greys have seen and realize that they do not have.
People in TikTok, how can you not come over to YouTube? I know you can hear this and stuff like that, but you need to come over to YouTube so you can watch it. See, this is like the Simon Holland of the female Simon Holland that we listen to. It looks like very clued up on this. And thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that.
Because they are purely physical and going to break down with the second law of thermodynamics. They see that human beings have something that doesn't break down. They can see, now remember, they're purely physical, so they can only see physical announcements or signatures written in atoms, okay? So they will see that a certain imprint, a certain biological signature of an individual electrospatial field, or let's, for the sake of argument, let's say soul, comes into life, right? Dies, disappears from their physical view, right? It seems to come back again. Nigel believes in reincarnation, by the way, as many of the people around the world do here.
Thanks for the interaction, guys. I really appreciate it because it does help with TikTok, YouTube. They go through all the analytics and stuff like that, and it helps. And then the next live might be a bit better, and it'll go bum 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 bum. And then that's how we do it. We're starting. I'm enjoying my YouTube journey so far.
Hindus, Buddhists,
and I will need moderators soon. In fact, I could create my first moderator today, I think. I'll have a look in a minute.
In our sort of relatively restricted context in Western thought, reincarnation isn't accepted, but so many people in all around the world do believe in this. So they see...
Melissa, you are my first moderator. Welcome to the UFOs Around the World gang.
This imprint, this physical signature, go in, come out, go in, come out. Survive death.
They are just like, what is going on with these things?
Exactly. How is that possible? Because in physical terms, something dies, it dies. Entropy's got it. That's it. The end. Right. There's something.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to.
Francesca, you are my second moderator. Thank you.
Drill down on this one point because I think people will stick to this until I do. He doesn't seem to get really bogged down in the origin of like what planet they're from or what, like at least insofar as I've found in my reading to this point. Is that something that's a factor in Nigel's thinking, or is it more binary than that? And is that not important? In other words, you have a synthetic being, you have a non-synthetic being. That's the real dynamic here. It doesn't matter where they're from. Focus on the other dynamic.
Exactly. That's a really insightful point. Yes, absolutely. In fact, Nigel was asked in many, many interviews, where do they come from? Do you have any idea? What's their origin? Do they come from different places in the universe? And his reply every single time was, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's a principle that's going on here. A principle that's at work where something synthetic is having an effect in our universe on natural living being, which has the opportunity to go back to a prior state, which is so far superior to this physical state. And that synthetic being has some kind of interest in that natural being and has the ability to prevent that natural being from going back to that incredible state by interfering with it because it wants something that it has. Okay. So, his opinion was that the notions of the devil and all the evil ideas through history.
Anyone on here been abducted by a alien grey? I'm guessing you're asking for there, Ragnar. People, you 60 odd, 70 odd, whatever it is there in TikTok, if you want to jump over to UFOs around the world on YouTube, watch this with us. Join the chats and stuff like that. Like I said, I can't stream it at the minute on my TikTok. I just want people to click the notification bar on my YouTube, because we have got a live stream coming up this weekend and the weekend after, which are going to be big, and it's fun, and we're going to be doing it live. This is what we're going to be doing live. MUFON one we all need to see, because they have apparently UFO material, and I want to see that live with you guys for the first time.
May well be very accurately placed.
At least you know I'm honest, you know what I mean? At least you know I'm a genuine guy, down to earth guy, get off my ass, go to work. I'm not one of these grifters. What you see is what you get. If I make a mistake, I will tell you. Sometimes, maybe I'll just lie, I don't know. But, I'm honest. You're my ride or dies.
In terms of what's going on here with these grey alien entities.
It had a little echo of some. It seemed to me like something that Jacques Vallée had said in Passport to Magonia when he was describing sort of the historical legends of different human cultures about these little beings that would appear and do.
We were looking at the chat here, so people like missing time. So I think a lot of people have had missing time. Usually it involves alcohol, but if you've had something that's really weird and stands out, and you think it could be something, abduction, stuff like that, send me a message, maybe by email might be better, and I'll get a few people together and we'll have like a call in. So I'll do like a live, and you can like jump on up. You can either call, so I can speak to you over your phone and we can do it live, or we can do it over a Zoom, I don't know, maybe something like that, or through a Streamlabs, we can do it that way, I don't know, we'll work something out and we'll get it on, and we'll just have a night of going through abduction stories or people speaking about their experiences. We'll definitely do that soon.
Do strange things, or they would lure people into a light and then they would get taken, or all these different historical accounts that he attributed the non-human intelligence to. And it's so to just spell this out a little more clearly, would this be like if we are at this point now as humans, right? We're about to.
So this is sorry, this is a bit off topic, but last night when I was watching the Grok 4 thing, my mind was like, shit, I think potentially if 2027 is real and something is going to happen, AI is going to be the cause of it. No doubt about it.
Give birth to something that we would call artificial superintelligence, probably within the next 10 to 20 years. Most experts in the field agree. Mm-hmm. Once that's done, that would constitute a form of life that would be on its own, thinking, making decisions, doing things, pursuing its own interests and goals on a long enough timeline.
Would you like me to play the Grok 4 press conference?
You're not ready for it.
Or maybe skip this.
Humans may not make it, but this artificial life continues on in the boundary of the physical universe. It goes out into the galaxy and it starts to try and figure out whatever it can about existence. And it runs into a wall that it just cannot get past. It just can't connect to the spiritual realm because it has no fundamental home there.
Weirdest one was when I got up in the morning at 5:30, walked to the bathroom to brush my teeth. When I left the bathroom, it was 8:33. I was going, that is pretty weird. That is pretty weird.
Right. So even if we're not talking about grays, we're just talking about the concept of artificial life built within a physical universe. It can never escape that physical universe. It will forever be trapped there. And that sets up a timeless conflict. Is that right?
Exactly. You've understood it perfectly. And the irony is, the more that artificial program, if you like, it's best to understand it as a program, right? It's not conscious. These are not beings, right? This is a program. The more
well, Gary Nolan described, I'm sorry to cut you off, but to your point, Gary Nolan in an interview this was probably 2-3 years ago, he said that they, to the best of their knowledge, the people he has spoken to said that the Greys are biological androids. They're like little...
Do you want one more moderator before the live finishes? Possibly another female or male, I'm not bothered. We've got 2 females at the minute. I want someone that I trust. I've got 2 that I think I can trust. Although I've not seen the other one I added. I've added Francesca. Is Francesca still in the live?
Little flesh robots that kind of don't really have a personality. There's no there. It's just this little machine.
Turn on the AC. We don't have air conditioning in the UK. We just melt. I think it is air conditioning.
Kind of.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly as Nigel would have described it. And he claimed, in fact, I say it's a claim, but to me, it's perfect logic. Are
you still off the vape? I am still off the vape, yeah. I'm feeling a lot better, actually. I'm not as tired and stuff like that.
He said that they can never be conscious. They can never be aware. It's
my 12th day. I stopped on the 1st of July at 5 p.m. It's now the 12th of July, so it's 12 days.
It can never have an identity, because the only way it's possible to be conscious and aware and to know, okay, is if you have something outside of time, outside of the flow of time. Okay. You can only watch things happening if you have...
I've got a fan here, but I don't want to turn it on in case it's too noisy and stuff like that. I might put them down now, won't it?
Something about you that is still.
A point of reference.
A point of reference, exactly.
I see.
So sweaty.
Yeah. So they can never have that because they're pure. They're only in time. They're only physical. They don't have that timeless connection. And it's that connection to that timeless eternality of the Godverse that gives us awareness, gives animals awareness, albeit of a very much lower level.
In your own work with Nigel and in your own musings on the topic, I mean, what do you make of, or did he ever talk about any of the other beings that people describe? I mean, there are a variety of different beings that people have described encountering, and only some of them are Greys. Is there any...
What are you thinking of this live so far? Like this interview he's having. Are you on board with this? Do you think this is potentially what it is? I think it is, you know. I think this is potentially what's going on. That's why I like this theory.
Discussion of that. Any thought about that?
Not really, because Nigel's main focus wasn't to create an encyclopedia of any kind of alien life form. Nigel's main focus was
Have you all clicked the notification bell so you'll get notified when I go live? Just drop a yeah in the comments.
Predicament as living being connected to the Godverse and this incredible, beautiful state visualized in near-death experiences, and how the various influences that would trap us here and prevent us from emancipating.
Well, I've just uploaded a video. It was about, I've been on live an hour now. Just over an hour ago, and it's the Jesse Michaels new one with Robert Salas, and he talks about the Maelstrom incident where the UFOs turned off 10 nuclear warheads, right? And I also go into a little part of it where it talks about Eva von Braun telling Gordon Cooper that they'd been working on reverse engineering UFOs before World War II finished and Operation Paperclip happened, which leads to my theory that the Germans were well involved with the UFO stuff and the Black Forest stuff and the Aryan race, and that's where the ideology came from in the 1920s up to the late 30s, and that's why they basically stole the technicians, the engineers and scientists and took them all over to the United States, and look what happened to the United States. They are now the greatest military in the world.
Ourselves so that we could be permanently in that state of perfection and wonder. So that was Nigel's real focus, and the whole explanation of the great.
How do you reply to people on YouTube? If you click over their name, right click maybe, 1 minute, you should be able to just reply to that person. Ragnar's number 1 at the minute. Melissa's number 3. I don't know what this means, but like they're my top guys at the minute. Ragnar might get a moderator's job here.
Alien phenomenon was just an extension of that. So really, the way I think, and Nigel's not here to say it, so I'll say it now because he hasn't, even in the 3 years since he died, such incredible transformations have happened in terms of technology, right? And we're so close, so much closer to losing that nuanced, subtle, sensitive humanity
your comment in the YouTube, so I can tell
is just the essence of everything that matters.
Marie in TikTok.
Okay, so much closer to it. Okay, so I believe if Nigel was here right now, he would be saying,
people joining, I am on YouTube Live, UFOs around the world. If you want to come over there and watch the video that we're watching, which is the night shift, Clinton Morrison, or what was Clinton, what's his name, can't remember, Clinton, right? Clinton Weldon, come over and watch this. It's about the alien grace, soul traps, all that kind of stuff. Then I might put the Grok 4 press conference on, which I think could potentially be witnessing the end of the world.
Grays is something that's out there, right? Some kind of like spaceships coming here, and or in terms of the future, the artificial intelligent creations we may make and send out there. We are living their program right now. So the way our online existence and our virtual reality existence and our focus on social media as the input that drives most of our conscious decisions and lives, all of that is a translation of that program in which we devolve into something artificial away from something natural.
Everyone pretty much has
so
75
you know
XP, 100 up to now. Is that good? 75 XP? I don't know. Keep chatting, guys. You're helping me out so much. Like, it's only 1920 of you here, but there's 75 in my TikTok that are not coming over here, and I thought you were my friends. I'm sweating my ass.
For example, in sport, okay, everybody knows that if you train your body, then it makes you stronger, right? So you
that looks quite tasty. And the food.
If you use your body, it makes it stronger. It's the same with the mind, okay? We are now using online artificially intelligent programs like ChatGPT, Google Maps, all kinds of technological aids which help us do things quickly, conveniently, faster and faster and faster and faster. Okay? Now, this is all called progress. Kids who used to go outside and play with friends and play imaginative games, right? Now they just stay in their homes, they sit in their bedroom, and they play online games with their friends.
Click on the 3 dots to the name, to the right of the
There's
name.
no, it's automatic, it's instant endorphins, instant happiness, if you can call it happiness. Maybe it's better described as contentment. And we're not using our incredible capability as human beings anymore. We're mortgaging it more and more and more and more into an artificial prosthesis, if you like, you could call it. It's replacing our bodies.
Is
it's
this
replacing our minds?
In your view, is this by design, or is this just, I mean, to play devil's advocate? I mean, we are in our own process of advancing as humans. We're developing technology as we go. You know, is it fair to say that this is stunting our growth? Because at the same time, you and I are having this lovely conversation from across the world, and we're sharing it with other people, and that's a very expansive.
That's an excellent point to make, and very, very important to make that point, because Nigel was never a Luddite. I don't know if your listeners know about the Luddites, but in the 19th century, they smashed up industrial machinery. They were farming communities that were really angry that industrialization was were taking away their jobs, and they just smashed up the machinery. And it's kind of understandable emotions, but not very constructive, right? Nigel was never there. Okay. And his idea was technology is not in itself a bad thing, right? Technology can be very helpful. It can be very useful. Okay. But then we have to be mindful, if we're going to be using technology, that it never, ever takes away from our expansive sense of connection to that.
It's funny when you come from another app and you see the real name. So on here, there might be something like I'm Bernard, and then on here, it's like I love Zelda.
Glorious reality that's experienced in near-death experiences. That it must never take away from that, so that we mortgage ourselves to just for the sake of the quick hit, just for the sake of convenience, we lose who we are.
In other words, technology must be a servant of humanity.
Don't forget, guys, notification bell. Please click that for the next live so you get notified straight away. So we need to hit the ground running with the next live, because it's a MUFON conference showing UFO material.
Our master. It has to be a tool that we use. I see what
And I promise everybody, on the live, you're free to screen record, clip, and go and do whatever you want with it.
You mean?
Exactly. And so difficult, though. So difficult to maintain that balance. It's not an easy thing to do.
It's difficult because the society is constructed in such a way that it creates this constant state of near panic, of tension, of anxiety. I find that most people are just constantly edgy, and not everybody, but it's hard not to be. It's when you're plugged into the information machine 24/7 and you're just like in it all the time. And it seems like.
Is my mic loud enough, guys? Or am I just talking to, because TikTok are obviously hearing me. They don't need the mic because I'm talking to them this way, but it says on here I'm fine. Like I said, this is the first proper live sort of. It's a minute and 7 minutes in. We're watching this, we're having a chat, getting to know each other, getting used to using the YouTube. It's all new to us, innit? Some of you will be guests in the future on here, I guarantee it. Some of you will be on here just talking away, natural. This is what we want a home for people. And bear in mind, I'm not here to make money. I'm here to become quite big on YouTube, like I've been on TikTok, not for the money. And that's where I'm hoping I can take a bit of a lead. Because how can you make money on something you want released into the public, that you want out there? You can only make a living off it if you think that or you can quit your job to go and do it, if you think you can make a living out of it the rest of your life. No.
That is.
I want it released so I don't have to work again.
It's more and more of a problem as time goes on. I want to come back to the Greys specifically, because in our first email exchange, you made a remark about Bob Lazar that I thought tied in really nicely here, and how he talked about human beings being referred to as containers by the Greys. Can you expand on what you meant by that a little bit?
Exactly, absolutely. So, yes, Bob Lazar said that from his knowledge and from everything he's experienced, because he's had direct experience with this whole phenomenon, that as far as he understood, for these alien entities, or for this program, we are containers for something.
Right,
and I believe he actually said containers for souls, right? There's something,
so.
Yeah. There's
I think soul is just good shorthand for what we're talking. Yes, I mean, I feel like it fits most of the boxes. It may not be the best term, but my understanding was that, and I've heard Linda Moulton Howe.
Yeah, my mic will be hard to hear over them because my audio is louder. I could turn the audio down slightly, maybe. Let me know what this is like.
Who I believe
is that a bit better? I don't know.
Left some remarks on the book. Has also talked at length about this concept, right?
So
the soul.
That might be better. I don't know.
And met him. She was so fascinated by his ideas that she came. She spent a weekend at Nigel's place and spoke to him at length.
So let's talk more about in detail about this.
Tommy, you must be able to hear.
Is it a conflict? Would you call it a conflict? The situation between the Greys and humans as it stands today in 2025 as we are having this conversation? We know now from decades of research into this that thousands, tens of thousands, possibly millions of people have reported contact with beings. Many of them have been taken for a period of time, had all kinds of different experiences and exchanges. They come back. What, in your view, is actually going on here? What is the purpose of this contact, and what is it leading up to, if anything? How far back does it go? How far ahead will it continue? And what is the end game?
Okay, sure. Okay. Great question, and there's many things I need to say, different aspects to answer that question. To start with, what I'd like to say first of all, in terms of abductees and abduction. So Nigel made this really clear, and I like to say this in every interview in case there are abductees listening. Okay.
Definitely coming over to YouTube.
Are not
UFOs around the world. Meet me on YouTube.
Individuals who are have been transformed by these alien entities and their synthetic program to be very much like them. They are the opposite. Okay, as in Nigel's understanding, abductees are individuals who are born into already genetically intersected lines who resist the process. There's something about them which doesn't gel with this alien agenda.
Saying greys is offensive to the lady because her hair is grey.
Of purely synthetic, non-spiritual connection.
You still here? What are you doing? Just lay there on the bed watching me. Oh, now you want a battle. This guy on you TikTok was just like, you don't know how he got on. Now he's battling.
A lack of spiritual connection to the Godverse. These are better individuals, if I could say better, more connected.
Thanks, Lisa.
To the Godverse. They have more.
Sorry.
More of a sense of other people. They're more caring.
I'm listening.
Less materialistic. Okay, they tend to be the better people, but they interrupt the program. They interrupt the whole setup that the Greys have created. And they're checking them to see what is going on here. Why are they different?
Where do we send the mod
how
bill?
Are they managing to do this? Okay, so that's abductees. The whole problem doesn't come with abduction.
Just remember, if I make it
even
one
though
day,
that's a horrible
for some
situation
mad
for
reason, I
anyone
end
to
up
find
making a
themselves
significant
in,
amount of money on YouTube. You guys
huge amounts of suffering happen
will
through
have
it. I'm not
some money put in your
listening
back
that at all
pocket.
in what I'm saying.
Maybe a car or two, you don't know.
But the real danger happens if you can be caught by them at the point of death. Now, again, it's quite difficult, and I think possibly
I can't hear you, pal. I'm talking.
Impossible to explain Nigel's whole concept of what happens at death without the illustrations that you've seen in the book that explain how it works. But basically, Nigel described death as the state of death.
You can tell your friends tomorrow when you go to work that you spoke to UFOs around the world.
It's as space between atoms.
But he didn't speak to you.
Okay. And the closer, when you die, you are to the edges of the atoms, the more vulnerable you are to the forces that are at the edges of atoms. The closer you go to the very center of the space between atoms, that's where there's a corridor, if you like, a portal to the Godverse.
Thank you for the gifts to make me win that one. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
So there's a whole, if you imagine concentric circles of lessening and lessening force towards the center, the greatest force is at the edge.
I'm on YouTube at the minute, Dave.
When we die, we go where we have chosen to go. We're a summary of all of our choices, like a vibration field, if you like, that's either more of the Godverse, more unionizing, more caring, or more of the physical universe, focused on material things, self-centered.
That's enough of this. There's another hour of this, right? So if you want to watch this will be in the link in the description once this uploads the live. I want to show you the Grok 4 press conference that people didn't see. I think it's important.
This week we Imagine being able to build
take a look at
anything. For any reason,
Sitting in my
in
garden,
any style,
feeling chilly.
at any scale, just by thinking about it.
Hey, Michelle,
Meet
why are you not on
Base
YouTube?
44, a complete AI creation platform.
Actually reason from the first principle using all the tools.
Engineering, pick anything, and we're talking about questions that it's never seen before. These are not on the internet, and Grok 4 is smarter than almost all graduate students in all disciplines simultaneously.
This
it's
is
actually
insane.
just
Listen to
important to appreciate that's really something. And the reasoning capabilities of Grok are incredible. So there's some people out there who think AI can't reason, and look, it can reason at superhuman level. Yeah, and frankly, it only gets better from here. We'll take you through the Grok 4 release, and show you like the pace of progress here. I guess the first part is like, in terms of the training.
One thing I've noticed though, there is a lot of cuts and edits in this. It's like jerky and stuff like that, which makes me wonder whether this could be AI, and they play it later on in a couple of weeks. They say, "Oh, that was an AI video that we did." You'll see what I mean when you're watching it. It's dead jerky and like loads of edits, like no reason for them to be there.
We're going from Grok 2 to Grok 3 to Grok 4. We've essentially increased the training by an order of magnitude in each case. So it's 100 times more training than Grok 2, and that's only going to increase. So it's, frankly, I don't know, in some ways a little terrifying. Do
you see what I mean?
The growth of intelligence here is remarkable.
It's important to realize there are two types of training compute. One is the pre-training compute. That's from Grok 2 to Grok 3. But from Grok 3 to Grok 4, we're actually putting a lot of compute in reasoning in RL. Yeah, and just like you said, this is literally the fastest moving field. And Grok 2 is like...
Hit the notification bar, please, Bell. Put, notification done, so I know who's done it, please.
High school student, by today's standard. If we look back in the last 12 months, Grok 2 was only a concept. We didn't even have Grok 2 12 months ago. And then by training Grok 2, that was the first time we scale up the pre-training. We realized that if you actually do the data ablation really carefully, and the infra, and also the algorithm, we can actually push the pre-training quite a lot by amount of 10x to make the model the best pre-trained base model. And that's why we built Colossus, the world's supercomputer with 100,000 H100. And then with the best pre-trained model, and we realized if you can collect these verifiable outcome reward, you can actually train this model to start thinking from the first principle, start to reason, correct its own mistakes. And that's where the Grok 3 reasoning comes from. And today we ask the question, what happens if you take the expansion of the Colossus with all 200,000 GPUs, put all these into RL, 10x more compute than any of the models out there on reinforcement learning, unprecedented scale, what's going to happen?
That is scary. Have you seen that growth? 10 times Grok 4 reasoning. It's like PhD level. It's basically better than, it's clever, it's smart, we're done. We are done.
So this is the story of Grok 4. And
we'll be able to create full movies with AI next year. Full movies. Could you imagine the savage movies that I'm going to be able to create? I'm going to direct my own. Just by a prompt, you'll be able to create your own 2-hour movie. This is insane.
Share some insight with the audience. Yeah. So let's just talk about how smart Grok 4 is. So I guess we can start discussing this benchmark.
Who's done what? Right. So what I'm saying to people in the YouTube live is please click the notification bell, because I'm going live weekend, because there is a UFO press conference with UFO material by MUFON, and I'm going to be live streaming it, and I need people to get the notification so we can get straight on board of it, so you can do your clips and edits for your own channels and get it straight out there to the people and watch it live with me, your man, UFOs around the world.
Called Humanities Last Exam, and this benchmark is a very challenging benchmark.
And TikTok,
every single problem is curated by subject matter experts. It's in total 2,500 problems, and it consists of many different subjects: mathematics, natural sciences, engineering, and also all the humanities subjects. Essentially, when it was first released, actually earlier this year, most of the models out there can only get single-digit accuracy on this benchmark. Yeah, so we can look at some of those examples. So there is this mathematical problem, which is about natural transformations in category theory.
So the saying, not yet, they will get to it. Cures are going to be very quick. Things are going to get quickly cured. Physics, all these things that we're trying to work out, it's going to get resolved. When I'd finished watching it, I come to the conclusion that if something's going to happen in 2027, it's connected to this. It's connected to what we're seeing. This is something huge. We don't know how huge this is. It's massive. And I'm not the only one saying this. Just type in on YouTube Grok 4 and look at all the other people that are speaking about this. It's insane.
And there's this organic chemistry problem that talks about electrocyclic reactions. And also there's this linguistic problem that tries to ask you about this.
I'll go on YouTube once you finish here. No, you better have to go in now, because the video's on, you can watch it with me. They're not listening to audio on YouTube, they're watching it. I'm treating them. I'm not treating you TikTokers. Sorry, I can't do it. I would do, but I can't because I've not got my stream key.
Distinguishing between closed and open syllabus from a Hebrew source text. So you can see also it's a very wide range of problems, and every single problem is PhD or even advanced research level problem.
Yeah, there are no humans that can actually answer these, can get a good score. If you actually say, like, any given human, what's the best that any human could score? I'd say maybe 5% optimistically.
Yeah.
So this is much harder than what any human can do. It's incredibly difficult. And you can see from the types of questions, like you might be incredible in linguistics or mathematics or chemistry or physics or any one of a number of subjects, but you're not going to be at a postgrad level in everything. And Grok 4 is a postgrad level in everything. Like, some of these things are just worth repeating. Like, Grok 4 is postgraduate, like PhD level in everything. Better than PhD, but like most PhDs would fail. So it's better that said, at least with respect to academic questions, I want to just emphasize this point. With respect to academic questions, Grok 4 is better than PhD level in.
You don't have to send any gifts or anything like that. Just let him win if you want, people. Just let him do what you want.
Every subject, no exceptions. Now, this doesn't mean that times it may.
I'm just going to mute you, pal, because you're boring.
May lack common sense, and it has not yet invented new technologies or discovered new physics, but that is just a matter of time. I think it may discover new technologies as soon as later this year, and I would be shocked if it has not done so next year. So I would expect Grok to, literally discover new technologies that are actually useful no later than next year, and maybe end of this year. And it might discover new physics
when I watched this.
Just one smart.
Let me just pause it. Let me get through this.
Focused intentional trade.
He's everywhere, this guy. I swear to God, he's everywhere.
Day. That's how smart trade.
Within 2 years, I'd say almost certainly. So just let that sink in. Yeah.
When I watched this, I thought, this is it. This has got to be connected to 2027.
Okay, so I guess we can talk about what's behind the scene of Grok 4. As Jimmy mentioned, we actually throwing a lot of compute into this training. When it started...
Do you know what I've been thinking as well? Could quantum AI, could the AI connect to something in the universe to attract something to head towards planet Earth, to come here? They could initiate first contact without us even being involved. That has been playing in my mind, and I think it's a plausible thing.
It's only also a single digit. Sorry, the previous slide. Sorry. Yeah, it's only a single digit number. But as you start putting in more and more training compute, it started to gradually become smarter and smarter, and eventually solved a quarter of the HLE problems. And this is without any tools. The next thing we did was to add
over to YouTube and you'll see
capability
UFOs around the
to
world.
the model.
You need to hit
and unlike Grok 3, I think Grok 3 actually is able to use CRO as well, but here we actually make it more native in the sense that we put the tools into training. Grok 3 was only relying on generalization. Here, we actually put the tools into training. And it turns out...
I don't know about the video side of it yet, but they do go into that, the video side of it. But it's just insane. You'll be able to make movies, pal. So if you put, and I've got VEO3, by the way. So I've been doing some VEO3s with my shorts on my YouTube channel, which you'll have seen with the alien stuff. And the prompts mess up very easily. Like, very easily, the prompts mess up. This is going to be more accurate.
This significantly improves the model's capability of using those tools.
Yeah, I remember we had like deep search back in the days.
Yeah.
So how is this different?
Yeah, exactly. So deep search.
So this is Grok 4 that we're watching now. So people's asking for a summary. Has Rick Doty dented his post about not seeing egg-shaped craft on Twitter? Deleted. I've not seen anything of Rick Doty since I spoke to him once or twice on his DMs on Twitter after the interview we had with him. If you've not seen the interview is up with Jon Stewart, the interview's up with Jason Sands, and the interview's up with Rick Doe. There's about 7 hours worth of watch there. Me and the lads did a live, hosted it on Shiv's channel, I think it was, or it was Interstellar's, can't remember. They're now up, so head on over and watch it. And clip it, do whatever you want with it. You can share it wherever you want, I don't care. It's for you guys. We're looking at Grok 4 and what Grok 4 is saying at the minute. Grok 4 is insane. Grok 4, in my opinion, like what do you think of what I've just said then? Like, AI could initiate first contact with aliens. Laurie Miller just subscribed. Have you just subscribed to me? Have I got my first subscriber? Is that me? Has someone just subscribed to me? I feel like crying. Thank you, Laurie, if that's like someone subscribing to me, not like a troll thing or anything like that. I really appreciate that. I have subscribers on TikTok, but that's like my first YouTube one. It might be that. That's insane.
Actually, the Grok 3 reasoning model, but without any specific training, but we only asked it to use those tools. So compared to this, it was much weaker in terms of its tool capability.
And unreliable. Yeah.
And unreliable, right. Yes.
And to be clear, these are still, I'd say, this is still a fairly primitive tool use. If you compare it to, say, the tools that are used at Tesla or SpaceX, where you're using finite element analysis and computational fluid dynamics, and you're able to run, or say Tesla does like crash simulations, where the simulations are so close to reality that if the test doesn't match the simulation, you assume that the test article is wrong. That's how good the simulations are. So,
how could AI be the first? Please, I'm genuinely interested. No, what I'm saying is, if AI can go through the quantum thing where Simon Holland spoke about this. So best way to put it is if you've got like a thing here and you push at one end, it instantly pushes at the other end. Wherever, through the quantum world. And mate, I'm not battling you again. I'm sorry, you lost. Just take your beating. Take your beating and go. Let me get rid of this guy. Disconnect. Right, it's gone. So what I'm thinking is AI we don't know if AI may be able to communicate with another AI advanced system in the universe or anything like that, or anything, and bring them our way, or connect to something, create something, and come. We don't know. It opens up so many possibilities, that it really does, and it's scary. That is scary. Actually, I've just scared myself.
Grok is not currently using any of the tools, the really powerful tools that a company would use, but that is something that we will provide it with later this year. So we'll have the tools that a company has and have very accurate physics simulator. Ultimately, the thing that'll make the biggest difference is being able to interact with the real world via humanoid robots. So you combine Grok with Optimus, and it can actually interact with the real world. And
why
figure out
AI and not our consciousness? I think our AI and consciousness are totally separated, which is a concern, isn't it? Because they haven't got. They probably want what we have. If we merge and they have, and they can tap into our consciousness, which is a potential possibility with Elon Musk's Neuralink chip, to put that in the brain and stuff like that, they may be able to do something. They may be able to do some sinister things with our consciousness. We need to think of that as well.
Formulate an hypothesis and then confirm if that hypothesis is true.
I think the only way we're going to survive this is if we merge with AI.
So we're really, think about like where we are today. We're at the beginning of an immense intelligence explosion. We're in the intelligence Big Bang right now. And we're at the most interesting time to be alive of any time in history. Yeah. Now, that said, we need to make sure that the AI is a good AI.
Hello.
Grok. And the thing that I think is most important for AI safety, at least my...
I'm UFOs around the world. I just do UFO topic and stuff like that. I have seen your video. I have seen your videos.
It was called Underworld, and I was like, oh my god, is he into like some sort of cosplay stuff?
Oh, sorry.
No.
No. I do follow you though. I have seen your stuff. Yeah.
Aliens.
Into aliens, yeah.
Have you seen an alien?
Biological.
Probably, but I won't know. I don't know. I'm currently live streaming. Sorry. Like, if you want to battle, but I can mute you if you want.
Do you want me to leave you alone?
Please, if you don't mind. I don't want to be rude. Because you need to be battling.
I was just wanting to see if you could show me some aliens and stuff.
No, it's all right. I'm good.
Maybe another time?
Maybe another time, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll leave you to it.
Alright, take care, darling. Bye-bye.
Neural net tells me the most important thing for AI is to be maximally truth-seeking. So this is a very fundamental. Like you can think
Listen,
of
UFOs
AI
before
as
holes.
this super
UFOs.
genius child that ultimately will outsmart you, but you can still you can instill the right values and encourage it to be truthful.
Well, she's boring.
Honorable.
I actually did follow her. She does
instill in a child.
I can't remember what she does, to be honest.
That will ultimately grow up to be incredibly powerful. Yeah. Yeah, so this is really these are still primitive tools.
Yeah, it did go a bit sleazy, didn't it?
That serious commercial companies use, but we will provide it with those tools, and I think it will be able to solve with those tools real world
YouTube
technology
and subscribe.
problems. In fact, I'm certain of it. It's
Nicole
just a
King.
of how long it takes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Please click the notification bar as well. That's important because when I go live, when you're having your dinner, you're on the toilet, whatever you're doing in life, whether you're at a funeral, you will get a notification of those around the world live, and you can leave whatever you're doing to go and watch the live where
plus the
show
right tools,
us
and then ultimately to be able to interact with the physical world.
Alien material.
And then we'll effectively have an economy that is ultimately an economy that is thousands of times bigger than our current economy, or maybe millions of times. If you think of civilization as percentage completion of the Kardashev scale, where Kardashev 1 is using all the energy output of a planet, and Kardashev 2 is using all the energy output of a sun, and 3 is all the energy output of a galaxy.
Yeah.
We're
Underworld.
only, in my opinion, probably closer to 1% of Kardashev.
Sorry, I'm ignoring
1
the YouTube
than we are to 10%.
Multitasking.
So, like maybe a point or 1 or 2%
the
of Kardashev 1. We will get to most of the way.
It's good to see these 1, 2, and 3s changing. People taking first, second, and third place. You're all number 1 to me, though.
And then Kardashev 2. Like it's
Except
the actual notion of a human economy, assuming civilization continues to progress, will seem very quaint in retrospect. It will seem sort of cavemen throwing sticks into a fire level of economy.
Matt, I have an idea.
Future will hold.
What's your idea, Chief? What is your idea? Global UFO Task Force, come on. Can I come up real quick? Put a 1 if you want him to come up real quick, but I am in the middle of a live.
It's very exciting. I've been at times worried about it seems like it's somewhat unnerving to have intelligence created that is
2 seconds, right? Okay, 1 minute, right? Oh, I don't know. You have to just wait a minute. Let me just play this.
Far greater than our own. And will this be bad or good for humanity? I think it'll be good. Most likely it'll be good. Yeah. But I somewhat reconciled myself to the fact that even if it wasn't going to be good, I'd at least like to be alive to see it happen.
We need to know about this Grok 4. So people need to see it. I will do a video on this separately on my YouTube,
I
guys.
know one technical problem that we still need to solve.
Is the mic and the audio okay now? I've loaded it a bit. Or is it
how do we unblock the data bottleneck? Because when we try to scale up the RL, in this case, we did invent a lot of new techniques, innovations.
Yeah, but yous won't be able to see it because yous are on YouTube. So if I go live and I let him up, I'm trying to play this for you, and he's going to be talking on here.
To allow us to figure out how to find a lot of challenging RL problems to work on. It's not just the problem itself needs to be challenging, but also it needs to be. You also need to have reliable signal to tell the model you did it wrong, you did it right. This is the sort of the principle of reinforcement learning. And as the models get smarter and smarter, the number of cool problems or challenging problems will be less and less. So it's going to be a new type of challenge that we need to surpass besides just compute.
Yeah, and we actually are running out of actual test questions.
What?
Yeah, Boogosphere is trying to send signals back to the scientist.
Boogosphere is trying to... 1 minute. I'm trying to tell the others. Boogosphere is trying to send signals back to the scientist. This is what I'm being told right now. So go on, carry on. Is there a video of this?
There's a video of it, yeah.
Let me have a look.
Celestials has it on his page right now.
Does it have to be him? Does it? I'm not going on his. Right, 1 minute. Boogosphere sending signals, right? Sending signals. Let's see if I can get people involved here.
Men disguised as police attempt to perfectly smooth.
One here from 2 weeks ago. He's sending signals to space and more.
seen by multiple people. Or
actually trying to send signals, like weak signals, to the scientists themselves. They even have like a little, some sort of
actually reason from the first principle, using all the tools, do all the research, go on the journey for 10 minutes, come back with the most correct answer for you. So
I've noticed the movie trailer.
And he just dropped the video on it.
Let me have a look.
Because I'm at work, so I need to make this quick now.
Abducted by Celestials. Yeah, go on.
What would it take for you to come to Mexico with me, you, abducted by Celestials, maybe Sprint and Sass and hallucination hippies, to go and actually go check out the Boogosphere for ourselves?
I'd need a lot of time to be able to do that. I can't just drop everything. I work, I've got a family, kids and everything like that. Just go without me, man. Why can't you just update me? And
okay.
Do you need me? It would be the coolest thing if I went. I would end up getting arrested though, because I'd just pick it up and run. I am quite dangerous. I am dangerous. I am dangerous.
Yeah, but just think about it for a little while.
I will think about it, yeah. We'll see. It's like this. Like I said, this. Yeah, no, I will think about it. I will think about it.
So.
But it's like I've got a lot of outgoings and stuff like that. And whether I want to go to Mexico to look at this sphere, I don't know.
That's just yeah. That's it. But that's all I wanted to run by you, see if you thought it'd be a good idea. Maybe ask your audience if they would love to see, something like that. But totally up to you, man. Thanks for letting me on. All right.
No worries, pal. Thanks a lot.